Today is going to be a little introduction to our new skill, which is fractions. Now today I'm just going to give a basic introduction, and then tomorrow we'll go into more what a fraction is and what it means. But today I'm just going to go over like the basic parts of a fraction, a general idea of what a fraction is, and then I will explain the worksheet you're doing and give you some little hints to help with it. So when we talk fractions, it's fun to think about it in the way of a pizza. So when you have a pizza, you originally have, your whole circle of pizza, and it's cut into slices. Now when we think about fractions, we can relate what a fraction is to what a slice is in a pizza. So a fraction is a part of something that comes from like a whole thing. So when we look at this pizza, if I were to take a slice out, like there's 4 slices missing here, each of these slices is a fraction or a part of what the whole pizza once was. It's like if you eat a pizza, you probably won't eat the whole thing at once. So you eat a few pieces of it, you're eating a fraction of the pizza. The amount of pieces you eat will give you a different fraction, but the fact that you ate some of it, you're taking part of it away. That is a fraction. You're taking part from a whole. A fraction can be any amount of pieces from a whole, but depending on how many pieces you take will change what your fraction looks like, and I'm going to explain that right now. So a fraction has 2 different parts to it. We have a top number, a line, and then a bottom number. And each of these numbers tells us something different about it. This middle line tells us that it's a fraction. So how do we find these numbers? What do these numbers mean? The bottom number is called a denominator. The denominator tells you how many pieces your whole was cut into. So if I look at this pizza right here, it was cut into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. So our denominator is 8 because the pizza was cut into 8 pieces. And you can remember that denominator is our bottom number by looking at the D. Maybe D for down. It's the bottom number. Denominator. Our top number is called a numerator. Oops. Our numerator tells us how many pieces of our whole object were taken or colored in or used or whatever. In the case of this pizza, it'll be how many of the pieces were eaten, how many is missing, or it could be how many is left. But if we talk about how many pieces are missing, what fraction of the pizza has been eaten, we're going to count the numbers that go with the pieces that are missing. So to find our numerator, we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 pieces eaten out of 8 total overall. So if I write that more nicely, dot this scribbly line, we can say that 4 out of the 8 pieces are eaten. And the way you read this fraction is you say 4/8. And I'll go more into that in just a minute. So say you wanted to know what fraction of the pizza was left, because we looked at what fraction of the pizza was eaten. So let's figure out what the fraction of the pizza that's left is. So to do that, we have our numerator, our top number, which tells us how many pieces we have left or have used. In this case, it'll be how many pieces we have left. And we have our denominator, which tells us the total amount of pieces that there were, whether or not they're all still there. So even though this pizza doesn't have all the pieces left, we're still going to count all of them up to get our denominator. So if we're looking at how much of the pizza is left, we're going to look at the pieces that we can see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 pieces. Put our line for our fraction. I'm going to keep counting to see how many total there were. 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 4 pieces left out of the 8 total. 4/8. And what's kind of cool about that is we had the same amount that had been eaten. Alright, so far the main takeaways I want you to have. A fraction is a piece of an object, a piece of a whole, like a slice of pizza. A fraction is made of 2 parts. We have our numerator, which is our top number, and our denominator, which is our bottom number. The numerator tells us how many pieces are colored in or taken or still there. It depends on the question. And the denominator tells us how many pieces the whole is cut into. And when you put these numbers together, you get your fraction that is based off the object you're looking at. So now I want to explain fractions in the terms of the worksheet you're working on today. So the way your worksheet's broken down is you have a shape, a circle, and it is cut into different amounts of pieces. So I'm just going to do this real quick. It's not perfect, but it will work for this. Okay. So you have a shape, and above it in a bold print, it tells you to color your shape different amounts of colors. So I'm going to say that mine tells me to color 4 pieces red, let's say 1 pink, 1 yellow, and we'll do 2 blue. So you have something that looks like this. And then you have questions that ask you what fraction represents a specific color, like what fraction of the circle is colored red in this case. So the way you do it is you will first count how many red pieces you have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to write red right here. So I have 4 red out of, I'm going to count all of them now. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 pieces out of my 8 total are red. 4/8 is how you say that. Now I will do my pink. Erase my dots. So for pink, I have 1 pink, and there are 8 total. 1/8 of my circle is pink. There is 1 piece that is pink out of 8 total pieces. I have yellow, and I also only have 1 yellow, so I have 1 piece that is yellow out of 8 total, 1/8. And blue, I have 2 pieces that are blue out of 8 total pieces, 2/8. So I had 4 red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 pink, 1 yellow, and 2 blues out of 8 total pieces. And that's how you do your worksheet for today. Now the little hint I wanted to give you is to tell you how to read these fractions. So if we have a number like this, we don't just say 4/8. You read fractions a little differently. So each number is read different. Okay, if you have a circle that's broken into two pieces, your bottom number will be 2, and your top number will be whatever, and you read that as halves or half. So if we had 1 colored in out of 2, you would say 1 half. If you have a shape that's broken into 3 like this, your denominator will be 3. We'll say we just have 1 colored in. When you have 3 on the bottom, you read that as thirds. So it's not 1/3, it's 1/3. Any number after thirds, you just say the number that it is. Like this one right here has 4 pieces, so you just say the number but then add THS. So instead of 4, it's fourths. So if we had 2 colored in, it would be 2/4. When there's 5 pieces, it's fifths. Someone spelled a little differently. It's not fiveths, it's fifths. So if we had 3 colored in, we could say 3/5. If there's 6 pieces, we have sixths. And we have, let's say, 4 pieces colored in, we can have 4/6. And this works even past 6 as well. You can have sevenths, eighths, ninths, tenths, and so on. It just depends on how many pieces the whole is broken into. Whatever your denominator is, let you know how you're going to say it. So if your denominator is 5 and you have 3 colored in, it'll be 3/5 because it's out of 5 pieces total. So that's all I'm going to say about fractions today, but tomorrow I will have another video that goes into a little more detail about what fractions are, how you can compare them to each other, and a couple other things.